And the Borno State government has taken a step further to stop insurgent attacks around vulnerable communities in the state. The governor, Kashim Shettima, says this is necessary to stem the damage done to villages by the insurgents. He then gives assurances that such proactive steps will be taken to safeguard life and property. According to him, we will construct trenches around vulnerable points to prevent the terrorists from carrying out attacks and then fortify the areas by providing more security personnel to watch over them. The governor was speaking at Dawari, one of the communities attacked by insurgents over the weekend. To take a closer look now at the situation in Borno State and the activities of the insurgents, I'm being joined on the News at 10 by retired Army officer Major General Muyiwa Badewale. You're welcome to the News at 10.
Thank you for having me.
Looking at 2015, do you think the military lived up to expectations in the fight against Boko Haram?
Well, I have no doubt in my mind that the Nigerian Armed Forces lived up to its expectation in 2015.
What are the yardsticks you're using that's giving you this confidence?
Well, you know, I have been on your program a number of times, and we discussed some of the things that have come on board under President Muhammadu Buhari in terms of the appointments he made, which were based on merit, and some of the factors that we usually make a soldier to fight, i.e. the equipment has been provided, good leadership has been provided, the morale of the troops are high. We had a situation in 2015 when the Chief of Army Staff celebrated Salah holiday in Yobe with troops, and troops were very happy. And I can tell you authoritatively that there were instances where the Chief of Army Staff passed the night with troops. I mean, that boosted the morale. And of course, we also know that the ability of Boko Haram to launch any military operation has been seriously degraded since 2015. And of course, I must also remind you that during the inaugural address of Mr. President, he authorized the relocation of the operational headquarters of the Army, the Air Force, to Maiduguri. And that gave the commanders of the Army and the Air Force ample opportunity to field the battle and direct the battle from those tactical headquarters.
It sounds like you're agreeing with the Minister of Information, who says that the Nigerian military has technically won the war against Boko Haram, but you sound like you're talking like we have gone beyond technically to actually physically win the war against Boko Haram.
Well, you will recall that when, on assumption of office by President Buhari, he immediately undertook a tour of contiguous states. He went to Chad, went to Niger, went to Cameroon, and he went to Benin. And after that, we had the African Union Commission Peace and Security Committee recommending to the African Union to sign an MOU with the Lake Chad Basin Commission, wherein we had a bigger multinational force of about 8,700 personnel. And to date, you will recall that unlike what we had in the past, when Boko Haram captured territories, hoisted flags, tried to show, we saw their convoy, we saw video clips and what have you, but all those are now a thing of the past. I would rather say, and I would, apart from agreeing with the Minister of Information, that Boko Haram insurgency has been defeated, but not eradicated.
Which is why we need to get your take on the governor of Borno State saying that the military should consider digging trenches around communities to prevent insurgent attacks. How do you think this would help?
Well, let me quickly add to it that in counter-insurgency operation, the effort is supposed to be 20% military, while the 80% is for the civil populace, the political leaders and all paramilitary agencies. But what we have now, to my mind, I think the Nigerian military is overburdened, and it is high time that other security agencies are made to fully participate in these counter-insurgency operations. Thank God the Nigerian Army or the armed forces, they've degraded the Boko Haram ability to mount any serious operation. But all hands must be on deck. To that extent, I am saying that it shouldn't be the military that should be given the responsibility of digging trenches around those villages. The civil populace should be given that responsibility. And in fact, the local government should function, and every effort should be put in place, not only for the military.
Well, looking at civilian participation now, local hunters have said they want to be part of, this operation against Boko Haram. You think that's an option that we can consider?
Well, local hunters can provide intelligence, they can provide information. In fact, from the background of you and I, we know that hunters operate mostly in the night. They can, in terms of route reconnaissance, they can assist the troops to recce the routes, provide information about the locals. And don't forget that these hunters live within the community. And that is essentially what they are supposed to be doing. There are limitations in terms of operating side by side with the military. They may compromise the operation. There are limitations. But as far as providing intelligence and information is concerned, they can also be useful, just as the civilian JTF are useful.
So how do we sustain the gains that we have made on Boko Haram?
Well, let me start by telling you that substantial part of Boko Haram, they've melted into the Lake Chad Islands. What it then means is that the Nigerian forces should take a critical look at their order of battle, particularly what we call look-start, location stations, and possibly erect garrisons and military locations close to the border so that they can, prevent a resurgence, prevent, coming back of those that have melted into Lake Chad. And again, we also want to look at special security, special border guards to be set up. Again, I also want to say that if you look at the third schedule, part 1, item 25 of the Constitution of 1999 as amended, you will see that item 25 specifies the establishment of a National Security Council. And looking at that particular item 25, you will see that the composition reflects many ministries: finance, interior, foreign affairs, internal affairs, and defense. And then the president could also bring in additional members. What I am trying to propose here is that the President Commander-in-Chief, who is the chairman of the National Security Council, should hold regular meetings and demand briefing from the head of the services so that regularly it could be updated as to what they have achieved. To that extent, it means that the police should move into the areas that have been liberated. A lot of those local governments don't have police presence at the moment.
Major General Muyiwa Badewole, your recommendations are well noted. Thank you so much for joining us on the News at 10.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your comment.
Now we're heading to Kogi State. As his tenure in office winds down, Governor Idris Wada has been making arrangements for a smooth transition to the incoming administration. Governor Wada has constituted a transition and steering committee to arrange for a smooth transition of government ahead of the handover date of January 27th. This committee is expected to liaise with the committees from the All Progressives Congress to draw up programs for transition to the incoming administration. While inaugurating the committee in Lokoja, the state capital, the governor described it as a necessary step that should be taken by any responsible government. His deputy, Yomi Awuni, assured the governor that the committee's assignment will be given appropriate attention.
So I explained to him very, very carefully what His Excellency is trying to do, the vision behind this assignment, and that even if the results of the elections had been otherwise, we would still have had to put in place a transition program for ourselves as well. That all what we're just trying to do is house cleaning to make sure that we put the records straight and also assess what we have done with the mandate given to us by the good people of Kogi State.
And I want to urge every one of you to please do whatever you can to make sure that your reports are ready. They are in tidy format that can help the steering committee and the transition committee to do their work. Any information, any assistance you can give them, even if you are not directly a member of the committee, you are welcome to join them to contribute to straighten things out. The interest of our people and our state should be the number one motivation for us. Administrations come, administrations go, but the state continues. That state belongs to every one of us.
When the News at 10 returns, our community report tonight examines the efficacy of alternative medicine and its successes at a local orthopedic center in Jos, the Plateau State capital. You don't want to miss that. Please join us again.